Wow, Jesse, I'm looking at all my texts. People are texting me up and down they're saying some interesting things. We're talking about a letter that the lay Catholics in China wrote to the Holy Father after 10 years of his pontificate. And they're just saying, Holy Father, you're killing us by not giving us the faith. You're taking it away from us. And many of us who our relatives have died for the faith and not compromising with the communists. And now you're saying, oh, you don't need to do that. And they're like, wait a minute, what? My dad, suffered 10 years in prison because he wouldn't go along with the Communist Patriotic Church. And now you're saying it was all a waste? You see, Jesse, this is hard hitting. And I mean, we got to pray for the Pope, because I hope that he reads this letter and it really does really make him realize that no matter what, we hear that the Communist China gives over $2 billion a year. We hear about that from different news agencies because there's this agreement that they made with the Chinese government. And we know that the Peter's Pence has been put out because nobody's giving money.
It's taken a hit.
Yeah, it's taken a hit. So, I'm wondering if it's just the Chinese are paying for all this, maybe because the Pope sees it as, hey, we got to pay our bills. I don't know. I'm just speculating. I can't understand why the Pope would allow the children, his spiritual children, to suffer under these communists in the way they've been doing with this agreement. And they're saying, please, Holy Father, get rid of this agreement. He says this, Jesse, Holy Father, these are the people. We don't know how and where to start our petition in the face of your endless scandals. We are hopeless. We can't believe it is you, our Holy Father, the vigor of Christ, who is killing us. They're really speaking from the heart, Jesse. Are those your decisions? Who are behind you? Did you receive money from the CCP, like the $2 billion that's been reported? Okay, on what conditions? Are climate rights, are panda rights more important than human rights? Why are you so addicted to promoting the evil ones and persecuting the virtuous ones? That's a powerful statement, Jess. Your turn.
The article says, Holy Father, many told us to save our complaints and sacrifice. Francis doesn't care.
No.
We have nothing to appease you but our roaring blood shipped to your hand.
Wow.
If you continue to betray and destroy us.
I'm sorry, Jesse. That statement right there, that's the saddest statement I've heard all year.
I've never heard anything more sad than that, Terry, from Catholics appealing to a pope. That's the most sad statement I've ever heard in my life.
The way they wrote it.
Yeah. God help us.
Continue, Jess, because this I'm not even in China, but I got to have empathy for our brothers and sisters in China who are trying to live out their Catholic faith in spite of their spiritual father, the Holy Father, not supporting them, and not even supporting them, undermining their faith. I mean, it's the last person it should happen to.
The Chinese say to the Holy Father, respectfully, we cry out to beg and to urge you, first bullet, terminate the current secret deal with the CCP.
Secret deal. Did you see that? Secret.
Yeah, that was parlayed by McCarrick.
Transparency.
It brought more CCP persecution and chaos division inside the church. The most urgent thing you should do is to urge the CCP to release prisoners of conscience immediately and stop persecuting us. Next.
Oh my gosh. Stop promoting and protecting your Jesuit friends, such as the rapist criminal Rupnik, and heretic Father James Martin. Stop supporting baby killers such as Biden, Clinton, Pelosi, but even Pelosi spent her lifetime defending human rights in China. Go ahead. Just finish it up.
Wow.
I mean, I can't even swallow this because this is really hitting hard.
Yeah. Remove unworthy cardinals such as McElroy, Supich, Tobin, Fernandez, Chow, or unfaithful to church teaching. Stop harassing men of truth such as Bishop Strickland.
Oh my God.
They even know about him over there.
Yeah.
It says large number of real faithful in USA will fight any of your moves on him.
They know us, don't they?
Yeah.
Yep. Continue. Next one.
Return the 7 unrepentant official bishops to excommunicated status. Admit to the world how much cash you receive from the CCP in exchange for your silence. Confess and apologize for leading souls to the hells of sodomy and radical left ideologies.
Wow. You know what he's wanting? They're wanting transparency. The thing that the Holy Father talks about being transparent, They're just saying, how much money did the Chinese government give to you to do this? Because what other reason would there be to let us go and let us, die at the hands of atheistic communism? Continue. Jesse, I love what they say in humility. You're unworthy the portion of the Catholic faith in China loyal to the Holy See, but not to the CCP. And this was written October 22nd, 2023. I love this. Feast of Pope St. John Paul II. There's a significance there, Jesse. I have to say this. I'm going to start praying more for the Chinese faithful because, let's just put it in practical terms, Jess. Could you see yourself with your family living in China with those conditions? That'd be pretty tough on us. Wow. No. This is undermining the deposit of faith. They're undermining the belief that we have our faith and that we should have our priests, our bishops, and our pope to support us in the traditional teachings of the church. They're not getting that. And God have mercy on the officials of our church because millions of Chinese people right now have lost their faith because they're not getting support from the Holy See. That's sad.
Yeah.
God have mercy on them.
Yes, absolutely, because these guys are the patriarchs of the church. And I'm looking here at some of the comments on the bottom, and some of them are worth mentioning. It's here's one comment. Our Lady of China, shelter the underground Catholic Church in China and all of us under thy holy veil. I guess there's a devotion to Our Lady of China.
Yes.
Somebody else says that Pope Francis is the Joe Biden of the Catholic Church.
Oh, yeah.
That's
I got text like that today.
Yeah, that's a comment.
Sure.
Here's another one. God help the faithful in China. Another one. God sees and God will pay Francis the wage he is earning by his devious work. Lord, have mercy on all the faithful. Here's another one. What an incredibly sad letter from the orphans of the Chinese Catholic Church, the real church. Such betrayal, heartbreaking. There are so many reasons why this stain on the chair of Peter is the wolf in white, but his treatment of the Chinese Catholics in quite near the top of the list of many of his crimes. And last one, somebody says, the letter needs distributing to all the churches across the world.
It's shocking. And Jesse, here's the bottom line on all this. We need to be praying for our leaders in our church because they have let us down. Let's just be honest. I could tell story after story in the States with my own personal life where bishops have said things that are just totally out there and nothing happens to these guys. And so we need to get down on our knees and pray. And I'm going to make a prediction that there's lay people in China right now that are really holy people and that they're making reparation and that they're evangelizing underground and doing great work. And maybe someday, 100 years from now, those individuals who are heroically passing on the faith underground will be saints. And then they're going to look back at church history and say, what was the Holy See doing? Well, hey, Jesse, this history of our Catholic faith, we've had good popes and we've had bad popes, and we have to live it. We have to live with them. But let's just be honest. We outlive any pope. The church continues on, and I believe that God will bring good out of this evil that is going on with the church in China. Yep.
Here's one article that you could just type in, how much does the Vatican get from the CCP? Here's one article. It's a secular article. Dissident claims that Chinese Communist Party pays Vatican $2 billion annually.
That's what I read.
To keep shut.
Yep.
The dissident is Guo Wengai, an exiled Chinese dissident, doesn't live no longer in China, has fled China, has claimed that the Chinese Communist assigns $2 billion a year for the Vatican for its silence concerning the atrocities at Beijing. There was a recent interview on the War Room on June 20th on Steve Bannon. All kinds of websites have this information.
Yeah, I've seen it all over the net.
Yeah. Terry, I'll tell you, it's
tell me, Jess.
My heart breaks when I think about our Chinese brothers and sisters. Good. There's going to be so many saints in heaven from China.
Oh yeah,
I'm telling you. At the end of the 20th century, there's going to be just a litany of saints from China in heaven, and I'll tell you, as Catholics, we have to defend the papacy.
Yes, we do.
But we can't defend error.
That's right.
I'm going to say that. It's an important distinction.
It is.
We have to defend the papacy because that was given to us by Christ, but we cannot defend error. And let's not forget, okay? The popes, there have been 266 of them.
Yes.
The popes are the successors of Peter, a sinner.
Yep.
They're not the successors of Jesus, who's God.
That's right.
Okay, there's a big
Good
difference.
point. Yep.
Okay, Jesus is God. Nobody succeeds God. Peter's a man with authority, an office of authority. He's a sinner. The popes are successors of Peter, the sinner, not Jesus, the God-man.
And the church has always stated this, Jesse, very clearly, that a pope doesn't have the power to change the perennial teachings of the church. He's the vicar of Christ, not the superior of Christ. So if we have to make a distinction, if the pope is going to tell us X, Y, and Z, and it's not lining up with the traditional teachings of the church and the scripture, then, we have a moral obligation to reject it. But I think we also have a moral obligation to pray for him for his conversion. Because I hear all kinds of people on the internet and on radio, oh, the Pope says that, the Pope said that. Hey, but are we praying for him? See, Jesse, I get this all the time. They go, Jess, you and Jesse are always praying for the Pope. Yeah. Are these other guys that say the Pope is making all these mistakes and doing this, they never pray for him. They never ask people to pray. Well, I say, are you kidding me? You know what I did this morning? I got up early, very early, to pray before the Blessed Sacrament. And the Mass I went to, I offered for Pope Francis, and I got a 2:00 Mass, a Latin Mass here at the chapel. I'm going with my wife. What am I going to offer it for? I'm going to offer it for Holy Father, Jess. Because he needs our prayers. We love him enough to tell him the truth, because that way we love him. We wouldn't love him if we didn't tell him the truth.